The Whirlpool Masters is a very special event.
There's never going to be an easy match or an easy draw.
It's like a dream. It's a very big tournament, play the best players in the world.
There are 16 top world-class players.
It's a really strong field, really good mix.
It's called the Whirlpool Masters for a reason, so I've seen the draw, so it's not going to be a gimme. Pago Lion's there.
For years I've been trying to win it. I finally won it in 2007. This year I would like to win it again.
You've got the usuals like Mika, Shane Van Bonen just won the US Open, so he's going to be dangerous. But he's never won outside of America.
Got all the Brits, Darren Appleton, Chris Mellon.
Chang Jung-lin, he's won a couple of major tournaments over the last 12 months. Very strong player.
Nikos Economopoulos, they gave him lessons like, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago in Athens. Obviously things have changed since.
You can be in the semi-final in 2 matches, or you can be on the plane tomorrow.
It's difficult to win the Whirlpool Masters because you got the best pool players playing. The top 16 best pool players from all over the world.
This is the cream of the cream, so to speak.
It would be a nice topping on the cake, as I think that's the saying in English.
I know if I win it, it'll be one of my greatest ever achievements.
I wanted to grow 2 inches. That's how the level is. Like, I wanted to win.
This is the last 8 of the Party Poker World Pool Masters. 16 of the finest players in 9-ball came, but only 1 can lift the trophy and be crowned champion. Last time, former Masters champion Alex Pagulayan knocked out Chris Melling to become the first player through to the semi-finals. Nick Economopoulos, Chang Jung-lin, Shane Van Bonen and Darren Appleton are still in the draw and yet to play. But next up it's Mosconi Cup teammates Niels FEIJEN and Mika IMMONEN head-to-head for the right to play Pagulayan in the last 4.
I was 15 when I first started playing billiards. I was playing a little bit mixed with snooker and kind of Russian billiards and pool. Up until 15 I was playing sports, basketball, ice hockey. So I think the experience in sports helped me in the transition, just to understand the physics of the ball and everything, just hand-eye coordination. So I had a good background, but then I was completely taken away by pool, later on.
I started playing snooker actually when I was 11. I saw Jimmy White on TV and I went to a snooker club. I fell in love with the game. A friend of mine played both games, pool and snooker, and he was 10 years older. So it took me a little bit more to the pool scene, and I won a couple tournaments right away, being 16. So that was great. I thought it was way more exciting for me personally. So I switched and I never looked back to snooker anymore, and I quickly adapted to becoming a pool player. You have to learn a lot of extra things, and that's how I kind of got into it.
Niels is a strong, fierce competitor. We've played many times before, and it's always a battle. And I'm just looking forward to just hopefully I'll get off a good start. I figured out the break yesterday, so I feel more confident about the beginning of the game. So hopefully win the lag and get a couple of racks in.
Mika's a great champion. I got to be ready to go in. I just got to do my thing at the table.
It's a missing title on my resume, so looking to claim that one.
Could be 3 more wins. It doesn't sound that much. No, but it's a tough field, and you can catch your gear and snap it off. It'll be great.
Hello, a very warm welcome to the Barnsley Metrodome. Matchroom Sport proudly present the Party Poker World Pool Masters. A race to 8, the winner breaks, and our referee in charge of the action is Mr. Nigel Rees. It's now time to meet our players. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Netherlands, he's the European ranked #1 and a member of the European Mosconi Cup team. It's the Terminator, Niels FEIJEN! And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Finland, a member of the European Mosconi Cup team, the winner of the US Open and World Championship, the Iceman, Mika IMMONEN!
Mika IMMONEN, a formidable force in the world of pool, but then again that also applies to Niels FEIJEN, who isn't the only Dutchman involved in this match. I'm very pleased to say, in the commentary box with me, Alex Lely, good friend of Niels FEIJEN's, and he will know that Niels is well capable of doing good things in this match.
Yes, Phil, and lately working together with Niels as his trainer. I'm working for the Dutch Federation. Niels looked good in his match against Carl Boyes, as did Mika IMMONEN, although I think Niels looked just a bit more solid. Doesn't mean all too much for this match.
First rack, race to 8, winner breaks.
It's going to be closely contested, that's all I can say. And when the break will not cooperate, it's all about the kicks and the safeties.
Well, the first success falls to IMMONEN. Wins the lag, and so gets to break off in the opening rack. Gets to break off, but with no success whatsoever, and the one ball is sitting pretty for his opponent.
The breaking format in the Whirlpool Masters is that the 9 ball is wrecked on the spot. This is to make the break a little harder. It's more difficult to sink balls. The players therefore opt for a cut break, which makes it easier to pocket balls but more difficult to control the cue ball. Mika in his break under-hit the break shot, a little too soft. No ball down and an open position for Niels FEIJEN. The key shot will be the 3 ball. Actually the 4 ball. There's least room around the 5. So he needs good shape on the pink 4.
Extension call.
Now the extension call there, announced by referee Nigel Rees. The players are allowed 35 seconds per shot in this tournament, and they're allowed 1 35-second extension per player per rack.
A good view on Niels' technique. Niels has a technique very similar to that of a snooker player. A warm-up, then a pause, draws back, a pause and then delivers. Mika IMMONEN almost the opposite. Plays without a pause in his stroke. More fluid, more dynamic. So that's a perfect angle for Niels. He can stay in the middle of the table, leave himself a longer cut shot, or try and float downwards. But then he would be risking. This is what top players do. They use their stroke to control and manipulate the angles that they leave themselves with, instead of ending up straight in on the next shot every time.
The ultimate aim of Niels FEIJEN here in Barnsley is to become the second Dutch player to win the World Masters. And the first, well, he's sitting right next to me.
14 years ago. We didn't have internet yet in those days. Nick Vandenberg though has come close. He got to the final once, losing against Darren Appleton.
Yes, played beautifully in that tournament, I recall. It was in Las Vegas in 2009. Appleton a little too powerful in the final. And in this rack, it looks as though FEIJEN is going to be much too powerful for IMMONEN. The Finn made a dry break. FEIJEN's done the rest. And Alex, just the kind of start you crave.
Yes, and Niels is looking more fluent than in his match against Boyes. He is always deliberate, but against Boyes he was a little stiff, it seemed. This is a fluid opening, wasn't a straightforward rack. A dream start for Niels, I'd say.
Yes, this very much a clash of European giants. We know about Mika IMMONEN's CV. Niels FEIJEN, former world straight pool champion, won the 9-ball event at the Derby City Classic, one of the extraordinary events in World Pool. He's a former MVP in the Mosconi Cup as well. Over the last 12 months, he's won the European 9-ball Championship, winner of a Euro Tour event in Austria.
1-0.
Been on a winning Mosconi Cup team, and he's won the Beijing Open 9-ball as well. So a man in form who believes in himself.
Beautiful break here. I think it does help him to have gotten to the final of the World Cup of Pool recently. Has had many breaks on the TV table. You don't get to practice the break in these conditions. You can simulate them. In Holland we have certain attributes to help us simulate the break, but it's never a duplication of the conditions in the TV arena.
Yes, that is a matter of fact, not just in pool but in snooker as well. Doesn't matter how well you get the practice tables running, they don't play quite the same as out there in the match arena. Fine here though. A wonderful start. 1-0 going, you would think 2-0.
About half a year ago he has moved to Denmark. His wife Katrine is Danish, together with their daughter Lena. And whenever he can, whenever he is at home, he joins our trainings. When we train at the Federation, he joins us through Skype. Really a hard-working professional.
And here, 2-0 ahead and looking $1 million. Immonen in early trouble.
Rack 3, Niels FEIJEN to break, leading 2 racks to 0.
Niels FEIJEN in early command in this quarter-final at the Party Poker World Pool Masters. Breaking off in the third rack, looking to pile on the pressure.
Good strong break by Niels FEIJEN. There are two ways, generally two ways to execute a cut break. One is a little fuller and harder. The other one a little softer with more side. Niels's break is powerful, not risking to come out with an illegal break or an unsuccessful opening of the rack. Tough shot here though. Needs to go back and forth. Clever little shot though, doesn't want to risk and give away his lead too easily. Could have attacked. But a difficult shot and a difficult table. Why not wait?
Over the years, Alex, these two must have played on many occasions against each other. Know their games inside out.
Extension code.
The one match I remember best, and I hope for Niels that he has forgotten that match, was in 2001. They met in the quarterfinal of the World Championships 9-ball. And Niels had a shot on the 9 to lead 7-1.
Oh, shot.
He missed that shot. Mika came back, won that match and won the title.
Yes, in Cardiff in Wales in 2001. And the Welsh referee here, Nigel Rees, having to pick the cue ball off the carpet. Ball in hand. It left the surface of the table as you saw. And now FEIJEN with a 1-9 combination to move 3-0 ahead. He does not miss those. A quick conclusion to rack 3, but it goes the same way as the first two.
And this boosts his confidence, I know. Niels has worked hard the past 2-3 years on his tactical game. And starting the rack with 2 run-outs and then the third with a tactical move, a nice safety.
Leading 3 racks to 0.
The complete package.
Now this time the 1 ball does find the middle pocket. And the 2, well, he can get through to see it. Can he pot it? Is the 6 in the way? The hesitation, Alex, suggests that the 6 is blocking Feijen's path to the potting angle.
Yes, and he is considering a push out. The safety from this position is oh so very difficult. He could try and lag onto the 2 ball, soft roll the cue ball and place it behind the 5-8, but it's very marginal. And then the consideration, the dilemma is between keeping the initiative, playing the safety, or he's playing a push out, which means that he gives choice to Mika IMMONEN. Barely moved the cue ball. Very tough call for Mika IMMONEN. He's trailing 3-0. He's almost forced to take it on.
Well, he's not had a chance of a single pot yet. He's been kicking or trying to scrape his way out of trouble. The dry break at the start, of course. And again, Feijen applies the handcuffs.
Very nicely executed. Niels is a strong 1-pocket player as well. 1-pocket being a game much about safety, defense and patience. And all these investments are paying off. 1 row escape, easy to hit, but Mika knew that there was little future to play for. Body language of the Finn tells the story. He's looking to fall behind 4-0. Not having had one decent opportunity. Yes, the first break of the match.
And you were telling us in the first round, Alex, that Niels FEIJEN has limited eyesight.
Only his right eye functions. And only for, yes, I think 30-40% vision. His left eye is blind. But actually, for the aiming, for pocketing balls, this helps. Makes it easier because he doesn't have eye dominance, he just has one eye. But for kicking, when you need depth, that's more difficult. Because the eye dominance for players that have both eyes, there's a certain eye dominance. This fluctuates during the match, during a day, depending on blood sugar levels, energy, pressure. So just for pocketing balls, using one eye is actually an advantage.
Well, that might be an advantage, but being confined to your chair for lengthy periods most certainly isn't. It's a cause for being rather glum.
Niels is cruising. Has the cue ball on a string. Has won 2 safety battles already out of 4 racks. A break and run. Looking very much a man in form.
And he's halfway to the semi-finals. 4-0. Welcome back to the Party Poker World Pool Masters, where Niels FEIJEN is in total command. He leads Mika IMMONEN 4-0 in this race to 8. But from bitter personal experience, IMMONEN will know 4-0 is no guarantee of success.
No, Phil, I encountered Mika in 2003, I think it was. The year that Tony Drago won the Masters. This was in Egmond aan Zee in Holland. I trailed 4-0, managed to scrape a victory, 8-7. Anything is possible, but you need to get control of the table. You need to find a break that's working, and you need a little luck with a comeback as big as this one.
Well, FEIJEN's break there worked to a certain extent. The 2-ball went in,
Push out cold.
but no position whatsoever on the 1, and that's why he's pushing out.
Now all depends on the distance between the short rail and the 1 ball. How difficult is it to get that cue ball underneath? If he can get underneath enough to make at least a 3/4 ball hit, the cue ball will stick after contact. Nice shot. Possibly not the best of push-outs from Niels. Clearly the shot was on, and then that means it was too easy. Now what sort of shot could Niels play? If he clips the 1 ball, a direct hit, he will carom the 4 and the cue ball will stay up table. Very difficult, almost impossible to get distance between the 1 and the cue ball. Unless he plays very soft. That's a nice containing shot. All the focus on the 1 ball to get that ball close to the rail.
Yes, and again, IMMONEN's contribution to the match restricted to the tactical. Hasn't had a pot to go at yet. Not a single pot, and this is rack number 5. And he slaps his thigh. The reason? He's not in pantomime. There's a gap between the 8 and the 9.
Negative expressions by Mika IMMONEN. It's easy for me to say, but it's better to not show your opponent any frustration that you have for losing the safety battles. First, Mika checked if he can get underneath the 1 ball. He can. So he would like to send that 1 ball cross table towards the other long rail, towards the 5. decided at the last instant that he didn't see enough, he couldn't get underneath the one enough. So played for a thin hit with a great outcome. Now finally the wreck seems to be coming his way.
But each time Immonen poses a question, it seems as though FEIJEN finds the answer. Mind you, here, Immonen retaining the tactical superiority, or at least he should do.
But I recognize a pattern that I discerned also in his match, in Niels' match against Carl Boyes, that when in a tough position, he plays containing shots, just making the opponent play one shot extra. As was the successful formula for Andre Agassi with his coach Brad Gilbert. To not always strive for perfection, just get the ball back and keep it in play. You're not going to win every safety battle. Just exhaust your opponent. A containing shot by Niels again. Actually managed to snooker Mika.
And if you look at the balls on the table, you would think the mistake that he's made on the one might well lead to the end of the rack. And having said that, the mistake is made by Immonen.
Well, actually, I don't know if he should be frustrated. Of course, he's giving the table to Niels, but at the moment he's just not making it happen. That's also credit to Niels, because he's coming with a shot every time. I'm saying Mika is not missing shots. He's just not managing to get any.
Yes, and although there were no applause there on the occasion of the 3-ball going into the middle pocket, that was a pretty good pot because the cue ball was close to the side cushion. You will not be taking anything for granted. FEIJEN just keeps pounding away, trying to compound Immonen's frustration and misery.
A lot of care and attention for this shot. With the object ball so close to the pocket, this can be very tricky. Needs to be precise. Oh, beautiful shot. Ended somewhat short on the 6, but I believe he can float past the 8-ball. And then, depending on personal preference, go either side of the 7. Maybe the 8 is in the way, then he will have to maneuver into the 7.
Now this isn't easy. Cueing over the jaw of the middle pocket, cutting back into a blind pocket. We've seen this kind of shot missed a few times during the tournament, and on the vast majority of occasions it's overcut. FEIJEN though, centre pocket. Oh yes, and position on the 8. At the start of the match, Alex, you said this was going to be closely contested. I fully agreed with you at the time. Right now, though, it is one-way traffic, and the juggernaut is Niels FEIJEN.
Rack 6, Niels FEIJEN to break, leading 5 racks to 0.
Niels FEIJEN breaks off in rack number 6 in 2 different locations at the same time. He's in Barnsley, Yorkshire, and he's in Dreamland. 5-0 ahead. In goes the 1. And he's on the 2 as well. Look at this.
That's a perfect outcome for Niels. Nicely balanced match for him. Now and again an open table after the break. And other times where he has to play a push out and face Immonen in a tactical duel. Which comes to remind me of the final of the US Open in 2001, I believe it was. The same year where Mika won the world title. The final of the US Open where Mika lost 11-0 to Corey Jewell. A thought that perhaps is starting to cross Mika's mind.
Well, the widest margin of victory so far in this year's Whirlpool Masters. 8-2. Alex Pagulayan beating Ga-Young Kim in the first round. This might well eclipse that.
Safety is on. Looks like going for a recovery shot though. Struck that beautifully. Made a nice reset. Came up from the shot. Composed himself. And hit that shot very sweet. Now he can come with draw on left side underneath the 7. Needs to smooth stroke it. Nice view there from the back of Niels' stroking arm. Was viewable how soft and delicate the grip was on the cue. In general, pool players compared to snooker players, they grip the cue not as tightly. They don't stab the ball so much. And when following through, they don't grip it, they don't stop the cue.
Well, the only consolation for Immonen at the moment, he's got a pretty good view of the table, and he's not had to pay for his ticket. He will be livid. Just to reiterate, as the 7 ball goes in and position is obtained on the 9, here we are just coming to the end of the 6th rack, and Immonen has yet to see a single pot in the entire match. FEIJEN, fabulous. He leads the Finn 6-0. And this was just a routine run out. Some lovely pots from a man clearly brimming with confidence. Immonen's troubles continue to multiply. And now the big W, whitewash. That's the word on everyone's mind. Because FEIJEN not only 6-0 ahead, of course with this winner breaks format, he's breaking off in the 7th.
Rack 7, Niels FEIJEN to break, leading 6 racks to 0.
The Terminator. Nice close up there. And this cut break is very much about timing. To time the deflection of the cue ball, because it is played with some side. And you're not hitting the one ball head on. And the player that is winning is timing the ball better. Often you'll see that a player that is feeling the pressure out there starting to miss-hit the break, but there is absolutely no flaw in Niels' game nor timing at the moment. Well, having said that, mistimed that shot, and again on the 3 ball needs to come with a recovery shot. Back and forth. Needs to take that cue away right after delivery.
Well, who could have foreseen this? Another rack looks like going his way. What a nightmare for Mika.
Well, personally, I'm speaking for myself, for me it was easier to digest losses like these than hill losses where I missed the money ball.
Absolutely right, it's the same in snooker. The players can find it much easier to accept a defeat when someone is knocked in a red from distance and made a century in the decider than if they've missed a couple of chances themselves. Less self-recrimination, but that doesn't mean to say he's not frustrated, not major league irritated, because he is.
Well, what happened if we analyze, if we start analyzing? He didn't sink a ball on the first break, and he accepted a push out that Niels played in rack 3. From there he lost safety battle. And from there, Niels never looked back.
So FEIJEN in 7th heaven. One more rack required to progress. Immonen sick. And rack 7 basically was the same old story. Not the best of positional shots from 2 to 3. But he salvaged the situation, and thereafter it was routine. In went the 9 ball. And now FEIJEN breaking off in the 8th, looking to apply the finishing touch.
Rack 8, Niels FEIJEN to break, in 7 racks to 0.
Now, to some players, that final rack could give pressure, could be a reason to falter, not being able to handle an 8-0 victory in such a major event against a major player. But Niels is very much a front runner. He can also make great comebacks, but in general you can characterize players. One is a better front runner, one is a better comeback player.
Well, he can't get the 2 through the gap of 3 and 6. So at least here, Immonen will get back to the table, you would assume. Crumb of comfort.
Well, I'm looking if there is a two-way shot on. If Niels could bank the 2 ball down table, an offensive shot, and stun forward the cue ball closely towards the 3 ball. I think it's on, but he would get awfully close to hitting that 6, and he does not want to sell out here. He's up 7-0. He can play a more containing safety. He can use the 6 to hit the 2 into, control the 2 and come downwards with the cue ball. Ooh, that's nice execution there. What a shot.
Insult has just been added to injury. Wow.
What a beautiful safety there. Very difficult to judge the speed and the spin of the cue ball. Stunning it with check side.
Extension call.
And don't you just know it?
Ball in hand.
Unreal. Never shot an open shot. Match.
Never shot an open shot. And this is a bad run of the ball, but in general I think we have to give credit to Niels' tactical game in this match.
You're right, it's the combination, isn't it? Unkind run of the ball for Immonen, yes, but brilliance from FEIJEN. Sustained excellence. And that's why it looks as though Immonen is going to draw a blank. Because the level of competition in the World Masters over the years has been so intense, with just the cream of the game involved, whitewashes have been a real rarity. I think we might be able to add this one to the list, though.
I think, well, I'm sure that I have never seen a better match from Niels on television than this one. I've seen him play flawless many times on television, but always pocketing, position-wise, running out many tables. But this match, especially the combination between tactics and break and runs, unbelievable.
And Immonen concedes without the 9-ball going in. The Finn flabbergasted because he's been blown apart by Dutch Dynamite.
Yeah, I'm delighted. I mean, yeah, it went so easy actually. I mean, not that Mika's an easy opponent by no means, but my safeties were good. I was executing well. I was running out good, and I just didn't give him a chance. I think he said in the end, like, I didn't get one open chance in the whole game, like one open shot. So, but yeah, that's what you have to do at this level, you know, or they'll do it to you. I was up 4-0 and I thought, yeah, this is great, but if I give him any air, you know, he's going to come back and make it 4-4, maybe in one inning, or so I got to keep putting the heat on him and keep executing well, keep breaking well, and that's what I did.
This is officially the worst injury of my life so far. I mean, I don't know what to say. I never had an open shot. I'm only shooting safety, and you know, he gets a little bit lucky with some breaks, and this is beyond frustration. If you play snooker, you usually get at least one attempt at the table. Now I'm just playing kick shots and safeties, and he, you know, he gets away with a little bit of nip and tuck there. And he played brilliant. He was breaking good, and you know, nothing else. I don't know. There's nothing to add really. Yeah, this is like the worst match probably of my career. Well, I didn't really play bad. It's just the worst in lack of opportunities.
An understandably despondent Immonen, but an elated FEIJEN, who now faces Alex Pagulayan in the semis. Next time it's quarter-final number 3, as Nick Economopoulos from Greece takes on Taiwan's Chang Junglin, here at the Party Poker World Pool Masters.